In the year 2112, the world was a very different place. The once familiar landscapes had been ravaged by nuclear war, leaving behind a desolate wasteland. Amidst the ruins, a new breed of creature emerged, mutated by the radiation and forever changed by the fallout. These creatures were known as the Nuclear Monstrosities, and they were unlike anything the world had ever seen before. They were hulking, grotesque beings, with twisted limbs and glowing eyes. Some were covered in razor-sharp claws, while others spewed toxic fumes from their mouths. They were a terrifying sight to behold, and they quickly became the dominant species on the planet. The Nuclear Monstrosities were not only physically dangerous, but they were also incredibly intelligent. They quickly learned to adapt to their new environment and to exploit the weaknesses of the humans who had survived the war. They hunted humans for food, and they used their superior strength and intelligence to enslave them. The humans lived in constant fear of the Nuclear Monstrosities, and their lives were a constant struggle for survival. They were forced to hide in the shadows, scavenging for food and supplies. They were no longer the masters of their own planet, and they were now at the mercy of the creatures they had created. One day, a young woman named Anya was captured by a group of Nuclear Monstrosities. She was taken to their underground lair, where she was held prisoner. Anya was terrified, but she was also determined to escape. She knew that she could not survive as a prisoner of the Nuclear Monstrosities, and she was determined to find a way to free herself and the other humans. Anya spent weeks planning her escape. She studied the Nuclear Monstrosities, learning their habits and weaknesses. She also made friends with some of the other captives, and they worked together to devise a plan. Finally, the day of their escape came. Anya and the other captives put their plan into action. They used their knowledge of the Nuclear Monstrosities to their advantage, and they were able to escape from the underground lair. Once they were free, Anya and the other captives made their way to the surface. They were shocked to see the devastation that had been caused by the war. The once familiar world was now a barren wasteland, and the only signs of life were the Nuclear Monstrosities that roamed the land. Anya and the other captives knew that they had to find a new place to live. They traveled for weeks, searching for a place that was safe from the Nuclear Monstrosities. Finally, they found an oasis in the middle of the desert. It was small, but it was green and lush, and it was free from the Nuclear Monstrosities. Anya and the other captives settled in the oasis, and they began to rebuild their lives. They grew crops and raised animals, and they taught each other the skills they needed to survive. They were no longer afraid of the Nuclear Monstrosities, and they were determined to create a new world for themselves. Anya's story is a story of hope and survival. It is a story of a young woman who refused to give up, even in the face of overwhelming odds. It is a story that shows that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope.